the Swedish Alternative Right Hangouts, and we're going to be talking about various issues of political portent and anything pertinent, as well as anything impertinent. So I'm just going to add my not co-host, he's really rather a guest, and then we will see who else is going to turn up. So I'll just provide the link. So in case you're just tuning in, this is the first such hangout that I have broadcast. I have, as a policy and for my own self-preservation, not done hangouts of a purely political nature. So this should be interesting. So until this is, of course, all Google Live Hangouts are broadcast live, until it is it is removed from YouTube for offensive content. Hello. So I believe next on the line, when he eventually connects, we will have Jens, who I'm not sure where he is geographically. I know that he's German. And another thing I'd like to say is I plan to... oh, hello, I believe we have Jens on the other end of the line. I just leave him to turn his mic on.
Yeah, that's me.
Hello, Jens.
Hello. Oh, we're live already.
Yeah, I was just introducing this particular live hangout, and I was actually mentioning that because I have a rather long-running YouTube channel, and I mentioned that I have on the whole I have shied away somewhat from purely political hangouts because I just, but I believe you have I believe it's pertinent to mention. I believe you have had a little trouble with YouTube, haven't you, Jens?
Yeah, I did have. I can hear my echo.
Oh right. Seriously, I think I can fix that. I think the are you wearing headphones?
I am. Okay, it's better now.
That's a sound cancellation. I think that's strange.
Anyways, what I was saying is I did have problems with YouTube. Basically, what happened is I uploaded a video response to a German feminist, and what has happened is that she appears to be in a network, in a YouTube network, and this network has manually detected their content because when she uploads a video, it says on their page it temporarily belongs to their network. So they have flagged it for, they claimed it's all their, their under their copyright, but it's not. I looked under the fair use laws of YouTube, and I basically filed a counter claim. So and a friend of mine, he did a video response to the same video, and he also filed a counter.
Now, Jens, just wait a minute. If of course, were the video not under fair use, would that suggest that this particular social Marxist feminist had copyrighted her video, and therefore the video was monetized?
I don't think I got the question.
No, what I mean is, if the video can't be, if a video is protected by some kind of copyright, right? Then on YouTube, then that would suggest that the video in question is monetized. In that whenever a person,
it is monetized. I think it is.
See,
but I think it's
sorry, James, to interrupt you before I forget. Isn't the concept of monetizing videos essentially a capitalist action?
It is, and now I don't know if she's a capitalist or not, but what I know is that basically she has done a capitalist thing, because what she has done is basically sell her rights to the content she creates to a YouTube network. And this network,
So if you could clear up for me that essentially, does YouTube own the content that we upload?
I don't think so. In
Right.
this particular case, her network claimed that they own it, because they do, but that does not ban me from making a video response. In YouTube laws, it says I can take any video from YouTube, basically, as long as it's not like copyrighted music. And I can make a video response as long as it's not just their video and their video only.
I see.
Because criticism is allowed under the Fair Use Act of YouTube.
Yeah, I understand. So there was was there anything particularly that you disagreed in her video?
Basically with all her points. And her whole feminist attitude. I debunked some of her viewpoints. I actually laid out some statistics debunking her video. She didn't prove any. She didn't mention or source any statistics in her video where she made these fake claims and allegations. But I was I did actually do that. But no, I actually asked her if she was the one who taken the video down. She said no, it was her network. Now I can't or cannot know if that's true. But what I can say is that some person manually detected that video because it says so on the YouTube page.
Yeah. Something I think that this is pertinent to this. I have made a few not video responses. Do you know? Of course, you know, if people have a particular blog and you write a response in the comments. Now, I've noticed on all of the Swedish feminist blogs, including one that is a manga site, or it's a site for manga artists seem to have very peculiar social justice and feminist politics. I will get the same response. Message not accepted. You have already left. You have already posted a message like this, which I think is a bit slightly suspicious. So, is it at all possible that they have a filter that somehow filters out comments that are, in terms of the language they use, or that I have already had something like a block bot put on my ISP address?
That could certainly be true. Now, on this side, did you have to log on?
No, not at all. It was actually
So it's anonymous. It's anyone can leave a comment without giving any information.
I've given it was a very new email address that I provided. So
yes.
I couldn't.
So they could basically have your email address or your MAC address, whatever. They could have probably banned it after you left one comment that wasn't in their liking.
And it's funny. I actually talked to one of the retards who are celebrated and a part of this particular. I mean, this website that comes to mind is called Roughly Translated. Actually translated into it's actually translated using very bad Swedish. It's the manga patriarch or manga patriarchy, and I was actually in contact with one of these people that actually, because I liked their artwork of all things, and they responded over Facebook, and I mentioned about something to do with they would have the one page in Swedish, one page in English, and they said the point of this is to show how commonly expressed gender roles are problematic. and the use of problematic a number of times, which I've begun to realise is actually their way of saying that it's heresy. Problematic is their word for heresy.
Oh yeah, these ideologues love to use the word problematic if something goes against their fanatic beliefs.
They can go fuck themselves. I'm not just going to say, and this can get removed for offensive content, but it doesn't matter because I'm going to download it and upload it elsewhere.
Oh sure, yeah, I actually had more offensive videos up until now. And you're familiar with Millennial Woes, and I am surprised this video have not been taken down yet.
I as well. Now, I have actually uploaded genuinely offensive videos, but the one video that's the one Hangouts that had slightly right-wing political views in it was removed. My videos involving dinosaur puppets in various sexual scenarios with monkeys, that was kept up. I've uploaded all kinds of rather sick humour that has such themes as incest, bestiality, drug use, but that obviously isn't offensive enough for YouTube to remove it.
Did you put it on 18 plus, so people have to be logged on as adults?
I've never had to do that before. No, I haven't. I mean, somebody I know got his video removed just for showing moderate nakedness, but I've seen other videos that have sort of full frontal nudity, so I'm not sure.
So I guess someone flagged your video as being offensive.
It seems likely. Very few, so few people see my videos. It really goes into triple. It really goes up to 100. It's really a sparsely viewed channel. But I suppose it takes a few people, a few intellectually impaired people to do something like that. So what can you do, really? I know there are a couple of people out there who dislike me, but who can say? So it is, sorry to revert. It is of course we know each other through the Millennial Woes channel, which is very right wing, and it is surprising that hasn't been
taken down.
Yes, it is. I actually wonder if they turn a blind eye when certain channels become popular.
But I also think that Millennial Woes personally is very careful in the things he says. I mean, I've seen more offensive channels that are still up, and they aren't as big.
Oh, yeah. Which ones come to mind? Thunderfoot's quite. Yeah,
Thunderfoot's quite big actually.
Huge.
Yeah.
He's he's actually one of the rare people on YouTube who have been uploading videos since YouTube used to be slightly different because there used to be a lot more of a sense of community, and it was possible for people to openly, directly respond with a video response.
Oh yeah, they removed that. I think because of the reply girls maybe, but I'm not sure.
It's odd. I think I can understand why they did it, because people could really use a very popular channel to increase their viewers, their viewership.
Oh yeah, it's been abused heavily, that reply video thing, as far as I know and have seen.
It's I've made very few video responses, and but it's the one person who did respond to one of my videos increased my viewers by about 200 temporarily, but the person's channel has since went into something of decline, and as has well, my channel has never been as large as his has. His videos that you would at one time get several thousand views. Now it sort of went down to sort of the hundreds, which I think is a shame. So that's what I meant about. I was going to say about Thunderfoot is many of the original people, yeah, who helped to popularize YouTube by doing these little video logs with crappy cameras and such. Who became the first? They became the first YouTube. What they call it? YouTube partners. The first YouTube partners. As far as I can tell, most of them have either stopped doing it or aren't really producing very good content. But Thunderfoot is.
Oh yeah, and there also, this one guy who at one time got like 1 million views or 100,000 of views on every of his videos, and now he gets like 1,000 or 100.
That's the interesting thing, is because really, if people are involved in Google Hangouts with very popular YouTube producers like Millennial Woes, because his channel each of his Hangouts will never get less than 1,000 viewers. Anybody's channel that is connected to it via Google Hangouts will immediately, their channel will get more viewers because of the connection with Millennial Woes. So I don't see why they have. I think it should be the right of YouTube video producers to block video responses, but I still think it should be possible. Directly. I would like people to be able to respond directly to me.
Yeah, I think they should, instead of abolishing it, maybe just reform it so it can't be abused as badly or as easily.
That's right. I would say at least I think that there should be great because when it comes to YouTube, there are grades of accounts. So this account has been going for a long time, and I can upload videos that are as long as I want, as you know. So I think people who have produced videos, so at least if a channel has been up and frequently used for, we're going to say 6 months, that is a sign that it isn't a puppet account. So if they would reduce some of the anonymity of YouTube, or rather that at least YouTube themselves have some more private information, not the public. So people can't really, imagine the people who would respond to Thunderfoot. You'd have these sort of Islamo-Nazis shouting Allahu Akbar and stuff at him, but wearing funny masks. But as long as people will respond with responses that are legal, that are not illegally threatening violence. Let me see what I mean.
Yep. No, I agree.
So it does make it's curious. It's curious because apparently Facebook when people report a Facebook group, a Facebook account for, we can say, pornographic or abusive content and everything, really. It's actually viewed in, I believe, in India and certain third world countries. And actually, there was a certain YouTube video about the absolutely disgusting stuff that people see that they, just before they block a channel, block a Facebook channel. So it makes me wonder who exactly is, how many people, how do they scan all of these videos that are new material for content? How do they do it?
Scan them for what exactly?
Well, for everything. I mean, how would they watch? Who exactly is it that will watch a 6-hour Hangout video and look for a content that is obscene or is politically not correct in terms of Google's left-wing policy?
I'm not sure how it works, but I think if you report, you have to say where it is, but I can't be sure.
But for them to have removed it, they must have agreed that it was obscene, inappropriate.
I hope so, but YouTube system is very broken. At least that's what I get.
So the way I see it is, well, actually, this could be true. That there's why do they need my YouTube channel? I'm not actually drawing that many viewers. So if you see what I mean, these small YouTube channels that have been flagged, what do they care? They don't lose any traffic by doing that.
Well, I would say it's, they have to watch out, or in their terms, watch out that they don't have any content that is regarded as offensive or abusive. So they rather get rid of it, and I guess they didn't offer any explanation why your video was offensive.
No, they just deleted it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They can just do that.
But they deleted a video that was already set to private. It was already unviewable in certain countries because of copyright problems. So it's very strange. Very, very strange indeed.
Yeah, this whole system is broken, but I really don't see an alternative at the moment.
No, there are alternatives when it comes to broadcasting. I don't remember the particular site. There was a particular blog radio, blog talk radio, that sort of thing. But it is incredibly hard to get the same amount of exposure as YouTube. That is absolutely huge.
Yeah, that's one of the points I'm talking about. But we have to also see that on YouTube, maybe I would say about 5% at max of the content that is being uploaded gets actually, recognized or viewed. And the other videos just, it doesn't matter if they're good or not.
No.
They just have to be, trending words or be trending on some social media, whatever, to get recognized. And the other videos are just floating on their servers forever with like 100 views or 1,000 views forever. And they are just, there, but no one sees them.
They're just like, like, what do you call it, sort of, like an old it's like a YouTube is a junkyard of content that many people will never view.
Oh, exactly. And they also many will never see it because it's hard to find.
Yeah.
And if we, they used to have this on YouTube, it was trending on new videos. Basically, when you go to YouTube now and I click on trending, it already shows videos from very big channels.
Yes. Yeah.
But YouTube is a very capitalistic site and system they use.
I put crony.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. The as pathetic as this sounds, right? And I this a long time ago. This was actually one of this was probably the first video response that I made to somebody. And it was not actually specifically to do with the content per se, but rather the style. Do you know that you've seen quite a lot of the huge. I'll go in more into this later on. I find the style of many of the huge YouTube channels and the people broadcasting them, I find I am rather allergic to the style. But in this case, it was to do with the a rather crude form of editing that people adopt because it's become a convention. Do you know what jump cutting is?
Yeah, I think I do.
Well, I find it absolutely detestable and irritating, especially when it is overused. And this person in particular gave me these excuses why. Firstly, she was talking about how to write fantasy literature, how to write fantasy fiction. And amongst other things, I saw no examples of her actual work, just her placing herself in this position as being. And I just said, please stop using that jump cutting. It's just awful. So this person responded didn't actually flag my channel, but she responded saying one thing which is hilarious, saying that I'm blocked on YouTube, which is impossible. You can't really block people. They can just create, if you think about it. And extremely narcissistic response from this person. And I was delighted. I was delighted because I saw that in her video. I saw the excessive narcissism of somebody claiming to know it all about writing, using jump cutting and etc. Because you can type in things like type in the word makeup or certain things or challenge videos, and you'll find millions of these clone channels to do with costumes, clothing, makeup, or type beauty, and you'll find this channel, or any channel, it seems any channel that has a chick that looks reasonably good, has a decent channel, shows some of her cleavage, and they get just thousands of views.
Oh, but that's how entertainment works and a free market works. It also has to do with, I guess, the average YouTube viewer, which is probably male, female, whatever, but probably in their young teens, pretty young. And they got this huge demand for a certain type of video, and these videos oftentimes seem to be these rather simplistic videos about stuff like challenges or pranks, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, vacuous. Usually vacuous people, and that they are all. There's all this so, what's the word I'm looking for? Forced. If you say forced, rather synthetic, extremely. I use the word extroverted incorrectly. I use it in its popular sense. These uber extroverts with these bassy projecting voices. And I just find, I mean, I'll say how it affects me personally. It's like a drill going into my temple. That can people be emanating and anything more? You know, projecting. They're projecting so much, and it's also very collectivist. They're talking to their viewers as if they're
As
with
if
them.
they are a group. Yeah.
Yes, as if they're a group.
Oh, but I think that is one of the reasons why these people oftentimes have such a big following. They refer to them, you know, they give them their name, like a group name.
They do lots of name dropping. I've noticed that.
Yeah, and what the viewers, you know,
Mm.
the viewers, I think oftentimes, and as most people probably are, not that they're just collectivists, but they are lost. They are in search for some kind of community, and this just makes them feel like they are part of some community. Doesn't matter how worthless this community is.
Yeah, yes. So what I was saying, I said how they. What I mean is, so there is a kind of YouTube community, but I don't know how long you've been viewing YouTube, but there used to be. What I mean is, there used to be a more of a sense of community without.
Oh yeah, across all of YouTube.
There's no requirement for them to reciprocate, where they just would respond because they liked other people. And there was no requirement for excessive editing, excessive promotion through, these Instagram blogs. It wasn't a job. It would become a job for certain people, but the original aim. Perhaps these YouTube people would do it anyway. That these beauty bloggers, but my aim was, I think many initially was to just to have a voice.
Yeah. My aim basically is to reach out to people and some would call it network. I guess that's the correct word.
It's a network. It's a network. We say network, but it's a network with the with like-minded people.
Yeah, it doesn't even have to be like-minded people. I can also debate with others.
Yeah.
That's why if someone on the comments asks for my Skype, Millennium Rose does the same. He just gives it out and talks to them.
Hey, that's actually a very good idea. That's actually an amazingly obvious thing. I mean,
but most people don't want that. But I have come to the conclusion, you know, I either care about how much I get noticed in view terms and subscriber terms, or I care about how much time I can spend on actually talking to people and not just creating content. That's why I want to do more editing, so on.
Yeah.
But I can't waste all my time on it. You know,
No. That's the thing. That's the thing. Is yes. It's style. That's what I was trying to express. Is content over style.
exactly.
So these guys and gals, that they have the style, and it's so very generic, but none of the content. It's the desired content, but of course you'll find people. Of course, Thunderfoot, and they have style and content.
Yeah, he does editing, but it's mostly relevant to the video, and he explains everything. But quickly on that point, you know, as you said, style over content.
Yeah, that's the thing is I in his case, another thing is about Thunderfoot is I think I was viewing his videos for an awful long time before I actually saw him. Actually, you see what I mean? Not that it's something against people showing their faces in front of the camera, but the majority of his videos are they're his viewpoints. He himself isn't necessarily the focus. He isn't sticking a camera in front of his face. If you see what I mean, it's all about the ideas.
Yes.
I mean, I honestly, I would say the truth. I have spent long, long. I have worked on the style in the past. I have recorded videos and done a lot of editing. Then it suddenly dawns on me, what is the point? They were rather theatrical videos. Nobody cared, so I thought I'm not going to put this work into it anymore. I just want to. The thing is, I've had broadcast training. I'm not going to record things that are fiction anymore. I have two channels. I've recently started another channel. It will just be the content. I don't need jump cutting. If I'm not sure what to say, I will have a script. And if it's a Google Hangout that is a bit too long, then I will use a bit of editing if it's too long. But I will only edit it. I will edit the Hangouts into 30-minute episodes, because quite a few people have very, very short attention spans. If you see
Yeah, that's the point I wanted to touch on.
All right.
If we get the most successful and popular videos, and the ones that get popular and successful, they are rarely even over 5 minutes or 10 minutes.
That's right. Yeah, I think I should point out. I have analysed and studied the different ways that people use language. There are different types of people, and the types that will upload a certain kind of YouTube video. I'm not talking about the feminists, the feminazis, most of the social justice warriors. The standard. Not only are the points that they're making concise, the points that they're making, everything is stating the obvious. They will start a video using a phrase like, there are a lot of crazy YouTube videos out there. It's something that everybody knows. It's something obvious. I don't know if that point came across. It's really telling everybody what they already know. It's a platitude. Another thing is but alternatively, another thing that is becoming rather big are these. On the other side, you have alternatively, you have quite new YouTube channels that are completely against the social justice warriors and
but they use the same tactics often of the times.
Well, yes, yeah. But on the other hand, that some of them can record videos that are rather long. But the fact that they have this niche, it seems to circulate, and that's the reason why, on the whole, I don't actually wish to. One thing is that I don't want to be known by these social justice warriors. So the other channel will be incognito, so to speak. And another thing is I don't want to produce stuff that I am 100% certain will be popular, just because. and I know that I want it. I want to know that it's popular. If it becomes popular for the right reasons, not just because if someone searches for Sargon of Akkad, or if somebody searches for millennial woes, that my channel will appear. I want it to be. If you see what I mean, I want to know that it's quality. And perhaps YouTube. I do believe that YouTube is not the place for that anymore. It is a place for sensationalism.
Oh, but it certainly is, and it has been for, I'd say, it has increased more and more over the years, but it's probably been like that since 4 or 3 years already.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, certainly. Certainly.
But the problem is there's no real alternative. And most of the people searching for the contents you would create or I create, they are still on this platform.
I believe that there's some. If you want a video to be viewed, that there are alternatives. Because say if one of us were to upload a video to a popular Facebook group, invariably people will view it. Regardless of, there doesn't have to be a link to YouTube. It can be linked to Vimeo, and there are, I believe there are quite a few video streaming sites that have very loose copyright restrictions. So that they may find that people will gravitate elsewhere. That I mean, essentially, people may move on to the deep web to upload their content, because they will actually get completely sick of anything that is vaguely political will be on the deep web. I'm not sure what you think about that. I don't know. Do you know about what the deep web is?
Oh yes, and I've been there, used that, and browsed some sites.
Is that why you've got an onion as your picture?
No, it has nothing to do with Tor. It was just something.
Oh, it looks good. I do like the onion. It has a great aesthetic. It fits into the circle very nicely.
I don't know how I've come to use an onion on my YouTube and Google Plus and some other stuff. It just happened. But what I was gonna say is the deep web. But okay, certainly, on these political videos, you want people you can talk to. I wanted to use the example that I actually have a friend who is too dumb to get on the deep web. He doesn't understand how to use Tor and adds bridges and stuff.
I know how to do it. I haven't done it. I honestly,
it's fairly easy actually.
I've had yeah.
I guess he's just too incompetent.
I don't. How can I say? It's not that I'm not a curious person. The things I'm searching for aren't that easy, aren't that difficult to find. It's really, the last thing that aroused my curiosity was to do with ancient cataclysms and such, and it's really very much in the open domain. You see, and one thing I might have searched for, I was actually searching for a particular USB cable that I've lost. I have a synth keyboard, and for some reason I don't know where the hell it's gone in this one-room apartment, but I lost it, and I had to. And Amazon charged an excessive amount for theirs, and I searched for it. So maybe I couldn't get the low price that I really wanted. I bought one in Sweden, where I live. But maybe that would have been a place to search for it. I can think of things that I may wish to buy, certain recreational substances that I would consider buying on the deep web. But I'm not sure how safe it is anymore.
To buy things on the deep web?
Yeah, certain plant substances, if you know what I mean. Certain medicines.
Oh, you're talking. I get what you're saying. There are certainly sites where you can still do that.
Silk Road, I believe, has been shut down. I've never.
for a long
I
time,
swear,
I
I've
think.
never bought anything like that on the internet. But it was. I considered it.
Yeah, that Silk Road 2.0 has been shut down too, I think. But there are certain other pages, and it works pretty much like Amazon.
Oh.
And I've been on these sites, and they also sell like assault rifles and stuff.
Trifles, fantastic. I haven't had a good trifle for a long time. What do you mean trifles?
Rifle, I said rifle. Assault rifle.
I was going to say.
Guns.
I was going to say. I just
What is
thought.
trifle?
Oh, I see.
Oh, that's a trifle. Okay.
I believe that. I believe it's. I think. Not from what I know about Swedish law, that it's perfectly legal for me to buy a rifle. There. I haven't. I'm. I see. So it's everything. It sounds like everything that Amazon isn't. Well, Amazon is great, but this sounds it has what Amazon doesn't in terms of lethal weapons and such.
Oh, yeah. They sell pretty much everything illegal. I saw counterfeit money on there. I saw fake IDs that you could get made for yourself. And the thing is how it works. It's all private vendors. And what they do is there's a rating system. So if you bought there, you can comment, give like rating and say if it even arrived. Because of course they can just, take the Bitcoins and never do anything. So yeah, it works pretty much like Amazon, but with private vendors and other products. But what I thought you were going to talk about the alt-right, since
I was sorry, it wasn't the same thing. Yes, it is to me it is a very new. Knowing that particular term is quite new to me. Up until recently, I identified my politics as libertarian, so to speak, neoliberal. But it's really they're not. So I don't know. So what exactly is the alt-right, Jens, as you understand it?
the alt-right. Well, it's basically, first of all, going away from this political correct society that we live in. This I personally call it degenerate society. Opposed to, interbreeding of races, being race realist. You could call that racist, but in that case, I would accept the term racist.
But there are people that we speak to in the who are in our chats. I'm rather objective on certain areas, especially that one. My views are still being formed. But
I am not part of the alt-right myself.
No.
I just agree with.
That's the thing. It is important to be rather open-minded and to not to just accept a movement, every aspect of any of them, really. I think.
Well, what the alt-right is try to do is form a new intellectual right, also.
Yeah. So it's really, as I understand it, it's revisionism, rather rather than just the accepted narrative. The most of the media has a very left.
Oh yes, it's very revisionist. I just had to look up the term because my English isn't that perfect.
No, but you're doing fine. It's all right.
But yeah. If I look up what the term means, yes. Oh yeah, that in Germany. Okay, yes, I would say so. It doesn't accept the narrative of the media. I mean, you don't particularly have to be in any political or involved in any political umbrella or ideology to be revisionist, but I think an aim of the alt-right is also, they're being revisionist and they are trying for people to be revisionist.
Yes.
And not to accept the general opinion and the general agenda. And one thing. So you are from Sweden?
I'm not from Sweden. I'm an expatriate. I am originally from England, and I've lived in Sweden for 12 years. Yeah, I'm actually I will possibly soon be a Swedish citizen.
Oh, really?
Yes, it's quite likely. So officially, I will be Swedish. So, well, I'll have a dual citizenship. That's what I'm going to try. That's what I aim for. I can't.
So what's the situation like in Sweden with the refugees?
Well, the funny thing is, this city is very culturally mixed, and even I've noticed.
Multicultural?
It is multicultural. I mean, it's not. I would say it's probably 60, maybe something like 50, 60, 60% to 50%. Using Swedish natives. I haven't seen the particular statistics. It's very mixed, but I've noticed that over the past year or so, they have first a Vanderhem or a hostel, a travelers hostel, became a refuge, a place for refugees to stay.
A refugee center. Yeah.
And then the only hotel in this city was the bar was shut down. I'm not sure there's any link between that being shut down and the refugees, but it is now a refugee center of purely, as far as I can tell, purely Syria, purely. I imagine Syrian refugees of some Eastern, Middle Eastern descent. And this building, the flats where I live, most of the people who move into the floor that I live on are refugees of some kind. So that's just it's just what I observe with my two senses. I don't have numbers. I do allow for the there's a thing called the frequency effect, that if somebody is made alert to things, they will notice it more. But I see much larger groups of certain demographics than I have before. In this, especially in this corner of the city. It's not a very large city. It's about 30. The population is about 35,000 or something.
So are there any problems with these people?
I haven't heard of, not in this particular city, but 15 minutes away on the train, there have been there have been. I don't know exactly about the time scale. There have been sexual assaults of a serious nature by linked to these groups. You have some. I don't have the particular news articles with me to show.
Yeah, but you don't want to say which city, right?
I will say which city. Kalmar in southeast Sweden.
Kalmar.
Yes.
Okay.
Similarly, a small city, very small, reasonably small population. It does have now. You could say that it's just a coincidence. Now, Kalmar has had for a long time, has had in a certain part of the city, of the area, it has a ghetto, a reasonably large ghetto. In that, I don't mean that it's a run-down area. I mean specifically a ghetto in that it's largely people of certain immigrant demographics. And the something I should point out is the way that people have been housed in for quite some time in this area. They will not be placed in areas with normal standard Swedish citizens. They'll be placed with people who are on the lowest rung of the social order, the drunks, alcoholics, people with social problems.
Oh, but we know why.
Sweden's alcohol problems have been. This is a problem that has been. It has been going for a long time. It cannot be correlated with any kind of immigration. The fact of the matter is, people.
No, that's not what I was saying.
No. Sorry, excuse me. Yeah, sorry. But the thing is, the people with these problems live in this area because the housing is cheaper.
Yeah, no, I was saying the refugees are being placed in these areas because I think the middle class and the wealthier people are the ones that are for mass migration. It's not the low ones.
They're not. They're not living in middle class areas.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes,
so
but they don't live that far away from very pleasant middle class areas in this particular town that I'm speaking of. It isn't actually that far away, but the people who they generally will have as their near closest neighbours
are low class people.
Yes. I don't know about the problem. There are problems in this city where I live. I don't know how to relate it. I don't know whether there are new problems. This city where I am, for the same reasons, is not generally somewhere where most people want to live. It has a bad reputation. It's if you think of it, when an area of a country is changed so much, it loses its identity. Do people really want to live somewhere where they themselves are foreigners? If you see what I mean, most don't. If they have the choice, if they can choose, unless there's a particular culture in which they choose to live within, in their own country, they won't. I don't. If I were to move back to the United Kingdom, I don't. I can honestly say I wouldn't wish to live in somewhere that is 95% Pakistani. I wouldn't. You would feel like as if you were on an alien planet. I mean, I feel alien enough as it is in this country. It's. I mean, I've spent a lot of time in these areas, and yeah, you're very obviously an outsider, if you see what I mean.
No, I totally know what you mean. I've grown up in a very multicultural part of Berlin, actually.
I see.
And I've been to schools where a huge majority of the school was Muslim. And let's just say it wasn't pleasant at all.
No, no, no. I mean, I studied as a college that was pretty much the same, and it wasn't unknown. It wasn't unknown for people to. I mean, this is a sample. This is one example. A friend of a white English friend of mine told me that he felt someone trying to stab him. Luckily, it didn't happen because he was wearing a leather jacket. But he felt a knife pressing up against him. I mean, what the hell is going on? What has happened? I mean, if you think of it, would these people's parents have done the same thing? It's rather like a mutation. In their case, it's a mutation of these cultures. It's something else. That they have this great bitterness for reasons I've no idea why. Why doesn't they have this bitterness when they are obviously in the majority? I'm asking the question, but it's not that I expect you to have an answer. I just do not understand the mentality.
No, I don't get it either. So, are you what I was going to ask is, are you generally against migration?
Well, this is I'll give it. Actually, that's a very good question, but you're not going to get a very good answer. You're going to get a very long answer, but not a very direct answer. I did not master a knowledge of infrastructure, but what I know. Let's start with the United Kingdom. What I experience, not necessarily immigration. I experience that people are crammed in. Far too many people are crammed in to a far too small space. Whereas the United Kingdom, if you were to drive across it, I don't know if you have, or fly across it, has a great deal of space, but it has a housing crisis. Now, in London, they build new housing within the city of London. What the new housing is, it's these luxury apartments that the majority of them aren't lived in. They are solid assets that people have to. One can say that certain people use it to navigate whichever housing boom, whichever housing bust there is. They're assets that just rise in price. But in terms of new housing that has been built, just for anybody, new towns, new communities, nothing new is being built. They're new houses within the same type areas. In this country, I refer to the idea of the refugee centres. That I mean, in concepts, if somebody is absolutely in desperate need of protection, I think it's damn worth converting a hotel to saving people's lives. But as you discover, these people who actually arrive in this country are not the ones who desperately need the help on the whole. Of course, some do, but if you really look at it, the immigration service has horrible backgrounds of people who've not only have expelled people who require help just because, even people who've been born in this country who are children of desperate refugees, absolutely desperate, are sent home. Yet people who have a great, have wealth, are very economically sound, have no problems. He managed to just settle down easily. So I think that you have to I've been look. I'm going to keep this. I'm going to simplify this point. I mean, I have been an immigrant, right? I had a certain purpose. I had an educational purpose. I had the purpose of sustaining an engagement, a potential marriage with my then fiance, right? I really intended and intend to support myself. I don't. My intention is not just to.
You mean you immigrated to Sweden or to the UK?
Education. I mean, I had two purposes. One was generally a new life. I really wanted to integrate
into Sweden.
Yes, I'll get to that. And I really wanted the opportunity to completely master another language. You know, so I thought it's an excellent opportunity. Now, the Swedish immigration people that I met, immigration officials, were extremely open-minded and optimistic, and but what they did not say was the economic climate is not good unless people have specific skills, which I didn't. I did not have the usual practical skills that they require, and they did not show any incentive in telling me what people should learn. It is just a case of, as it seems to be, a system that keeps people unemployed. It keeps people from other cultures unemployed. Yeah.
You think Swedish culture keeps people from other countries unemployed?
It is the okay. I'll start the way the employment unions are set up. It makes it very difficult to employ people. The education in the Swedish language, which is required, really, the job market is very narrow for people with unless their Swedish is at a certain level. They do not take the teaching of that language seriously, and people are just stuck in limbo. You'll have doctors that come to this country and nurses whose qualifications are not accepted. Why? I don't know. Driver's licenses become invalid after a short time. So things like that have to be sorted out. So it's not these are things that you don't hear about when it comes to certain YouTube right-wing YouTube channels. That it is people don't see. People are hopeless. Many immigrants I've met are made to be hopeless because what happens is the male, demographically as well, male immigrants, right, and female immigrants have much different chances. Women have a very much easier time to get into society. The men are faced with more suspicion. So their marriages break up. They become economically or morally not together. So it's a problem that's made even worse. So that the unemployment in this country, the statistics of our doctors, it is far worse than they estimate. Youth unemployment is very high. It's like the United Kingdom in a way. There's mostly temporary work. Full-time work is very permanent, and so employers are very, very careful, terrified of employing people full-time, right? So yeah, that's the point I had to make. So if they improve the infrastructure and employment opportunities, then it's a good idea. But the way it is taking place, and you heard about some of the legal loopholes, how the crimes that people will commit and get away with, that sex crimes and such will just claim they had they committed this or that act because it's cultural differences. That is just disgusting. But if you move to this country, you are well informed about the laws and norms that are here, right? And they aren't educated in this. And society, in a way, the system has itself to blame in a way. It's almost constructed to be negative. You see what I mean? It's destructive, in my opinion, rather than constructive. For many people, I can even say people from EU countries have become very demoralized when they realise that, oh dear, it's nigh on impossible to succeed. It's against the culture. The system is against success. Right. So that's my piece. That's my speech about it. I don't know if they explained it enough. I mean, I can go into more detail.
No, I think I get a picture.
I mean, upon the positive side, I have met so many people from different countries in this little part of the world, and I'm very grateful to the migrants I've met. I really am. I've learned an awful lot more about the world, and than I ever would have had I travelled to 50 different countries. But there is just generally it's a system that, I mean, I'm on a sickness pension presently, so I'm not supposed to work, but but in a way, I do consider myself caught up in this as well. That I don't see in this town. It's a black hole. There's nothing. Even in most English towns, you would see the odd job opportunity. Here, there's nothing. So
yeah, I can hear myself.
I tell you what, I'm gonna. I can't do anything about it, because if I log out of this Hangout, it is going to. If you log out of this Hangout and log in again, it should correct the problem, because I can't really do anything about it. What I can do is I can try swapping my mics over.
No, it's better now. I think. Yep, it's better.
Yeah. It used to be it's yeah. I mean, how is my sound? How is my sound? If I may ask.
Oh, it's good.
Good. I mean, is there a slight, not an echo, but like a slight? Does it sound like I'm inside the room a little bit?
No, it's fine.
Oh right, yeah. Just like I'm using. I mean, if I tap this mic, you'll hear it, right?
No, I don't.
Did you hear this?
Yes.
Oh, there you go. That's the problem, right? So what's happening is.
No, but it's all right.
What's happening is I thought I was using. Now I've changed mics. How does it sound now? You still hear? You can't hear this now, can you?
Yeah, I can.
You can. Oh, that's weird. Oh, anyway, yeah. But what's happening is, what I'm going to do is I'm going. Excuse me. I'm going to What's happening is, it's not your fault. It's actually what's happening is, your the sound in my headphones is being picked up by the mic, because the mic is part of the headset. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the headset off, and I'm going to put a different pair of headphones on it. It should be all right. Right. So just here we go. Unplugging.
Okay.
Yes. Rightio. Here we are. Oh, yeah, fantastic. Well, it's good that I asked. It's good you told me that, because when I listen to these there's so many of these YouTube videos, and you get these absolute idiots who just decide not to wear headphones, and it causes feedback, and so it should be a bit better now, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, why do you think that Israel and many Jews are advocating for this multiculturalism but are not letting this multiculturalism that happening in Israel and not take any refugees in themselves?
Probably because they realize, as every other country should, that to inappropriately use the term swarm of people would just be a Trojan horse for people that will potentially be terrorists. So that's why.
But why are they advocating for more?
To their own country.
To other countries.
To other countries, keeps them away from their doorstep, I suppose.
Yeah, but also many Jews in my country, and I don't want to get too much into this Jew thing, but many Jews in my country are saying we have a legal obligation to take in refugees because of our history between the Second World War. And
but the thing is, it could be that they are saying it because of their status as Jews. That they have plausible deniability. They cannot be touched if it's coming from their.
Yeah, but don't you think it's a problem that in many countries Jews are basically untouchable?
Where? I mean, they're not in this country.
In Germany, in France, probably, and in many other countries.
I haven't seen any evidence of that.
But don't you think? Well, but I have. And this is also one thing that the alt-right talks a lot about is the Jews and
they do, yeah, and they're quite keen on very various conspiracy theories, like the Protocols of Zion, which are arrant bullshit. It's been quite well established. I mean, I'm going to say the United Kingdom. This, in terms of the Jews, this is how the Jews protect themselves in the United Kingdom. I'm not. I've never belonged to any. I've never belonged to any religious organization, but I used to have take guitar lessons. The people who the person I had as a guitar teacher had a flat above a synagogue. He isn't Jewish. He's not. In fact, he's very of some kind of Bulgarian, right? But that's beside the point. One of the jobs that he and his wife had that was for security. Can you think there was a security camera in front of the synagogue?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what the security camera, what its main purpose was?
Well, to find people who are doing stuff with the synagogue, like.
Well, yeah, in a way. Specifically, it is not unknown for people of a certain religious persuasion
Muslims
to leave a present that makes a ticking noise and eventually makes an exploding noise.
Yes, Muslims.
Yeah, and this was a long time before 9/11. Yeah, so but it was up until fairly recently in terms of history in the United States that anti-Semitism was unacceptable. It's only quite recently that it's turned the other way, where the leftists who are against Israel are pretty much anti-Israel, anti-Semitic, but the media itself is not the average person is not. It isn't tolerated. You see what I mean? Up until recently, it was.
Mm-hmm.
So you could say that in recent times that they of course there is the Anti-Defamation League in the US and Canada, so they are protected in that way. But why why shouldn't a group wish to protect itself? If you see what I mean.
No, of course they're allowed to protect themselves.
But which countries in particular are particularly? What do you think the motives are for particularly Jewish Germans for supporting? For taking that stance? I just want to know. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, this particular politician, actually, he's leader of the leftist party, and he's a Jew. He said, luckily, the Nazis are having less and less children, and we need these migrants to sustain our population. But that's just
well, in his part, if that is his exact, those are his exact words. That's
well, kind of his exact words. Yeah,
kind of okay. You think about it that any member of the political party, that he is the mouthpiece of the political party. Were he a person who could trace his lineage back to
the Holocaust, not the no.
Yeah, if he were a non-Jewish German, would he have said similar things in terms of the leftist party line? That is, as you know, if you see what I mean, that is all for taking refugees. Would he have said anything different?
Possibly. I mean, I can't know. I can't know what he would have said otherwise.
So he would have said something that is completely the contrary to what his political party wishes him to say. Were he German? The thing is, if you see what I mean, it's not one person who's giving this statement. He is the voice of that particular party. And the things about the Nazis having children, that is absolutely the words of an insane person. It almost sounds like it should be political suicide.
It wasn't, not at all.
No.
But it sounds like he's referring to all Germans. Because you can't know if Nazis have less children, but Germany has the lowest birth rate in the world. So what is generally being thought of is that he said, and that he's referring to the Germans as the Nazis.
Well, the way, honestly, I really do. Honestly, that's the way he's saying it is. It's quite blatant. Yeah, it's blatant. It's absolutely disgusting, in my opinion, that someone would say that. Hang on a second. Let's go. Yeah, it's disgusting. Yeah, disgusting. What is the name of this politician?
Gregor Gysi. I will write it in the chat.
Yeah. I won't be able to read it. Yeah, is that in the Skype chat?
Hangouts.
Right. Yes, I can't. Oh, wait, okay. I will look. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. So I'm using the beta version of Hangouts, so I can't actually read the chats window. In the Facebook chat, Gregor Gysi. Thanks. Well, it's not beyond the imagination that he has been brought up with some resentment. If you think about it, I mean, honestly, I have known people in this country when we see German tourists of a certain age group, most people wonder whether or not they were Nazis back then. So if you see what I mean, it's terrible, right? But you do, of course, you wonder. But it's like it's terrible to say that it's ancient history, but it's absolutely ridiculous to assume or to presuppose that the things that happened during the Second World War will happen again. That there will be a Nazi party, new Nazi, so to speak. It's absolute arrant nonsense. That you will meet people who believe that it's some, I don't know, some genetic aberration that makes people, there's a Nazi gene or something. It's as insane as it is. There probably are people who believe that. So someone being a voice, the mouthpiece of a political party, unfortunately, does not render them immune to being an idiot. But I would actually like to hear a lot more about of what this person says in the future. It's very strange.
Well, he's retired now. He normally is very rhetorically skilled, actually, like many Jews are.
But why would that be? Why would they be more rhetorically skilled than other races?
If we look at the IQ, for example, now East Asians, Europeans, and Jews generally, they have an average or above average IQ.
It does seem to be that way, yeah. So
and basically, what has also been found out in studies, I will have to look it up if you want it.
Oh yeah, of course.
I could send it to you like tomorrow because I have to go soon.
Oh yeah. No, I have seen. I mean, I have looked at the.
I have to go in like 10 or 20 minutes.
Okay, yes, so I have looked a little
quickly.
bit.
Yeah. So Asians are generally, of course, not all. You can generalize, but in the normal Asian, East Asian is less, for example, creative than a European, but way more skilled when it comes to things like maths, so on. And Jewish people generally have less of a spatial sense, but are better when it comes to talking, to rhetorics. But I can surely.
But the thing is, it could have something potentially to do with the culture, because there's a thing about the Jewish stream that is it's quite stringent, and also if you look at various Southeast Asian cultures, that their parenting is very strict. They are they're brought up to perform. If you see what I mean. You look at sort of type in violinist, and you'll see how many violinists are Asian, and the reason is that their parents have pretty much forced them to learn. They didn't come out of their mother's womb learning to play the violin.
Of course not, no.
So it's a mixture of, and the thing is that there's let's find a date, it's interesting, it's pre-19, the earliest immigrants, you say Eastern European Jewish immigrants to the United States, when they did IQ tests, they performed excessively lower than many races, but within something like 20 years, they went into, as you've been saying, that the higher echelon, based on they had properly integrated, they developed something of a culture within that country. So is it beyond the imagination, actually? Because you can actually, people can, I know you didn't mention IQ scores, you mentioned rhetorics, but I can compare even the United Kingdom and the classes within the United Kingdom when it comes to eloquence, and even generational. If you listen to a TV program, a children's TV program from the early 1980s, let's say late 70s, when I was somewhat younger than they would have been, young people are more eloquent, they're more alert, and it's because of culture. It's because of it seems to be because of parenting. So is it beyond imagination? Actually, it's because of parenting. It isn't that there's some gene that creates rhetorical excellence. If you see what I mean. But of course, it may of course be a mixture. It's, if you understand, you know, it isn't beyond the imagination, of course, that
it's probably a mix of both. But I will have to look more into this, of course. I mean,
do you think? I mean, do you think that there is a temperament? There is a sorry, I'm still here. I'm just. Oh no, I'm still here. Just getting some water. That there is a temperament. Like there's a Scottish temperament. There is a Chinese temperament. There is a Semitic or Jewish temperament, or whether it's purely not things. You see, it's purely to do with skills. You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm. No, I get what you're saying, because they were also throughout history more involved in jobs that required rather rhetoric than practical skills.
It does seem to respond to it does seem to me to express what I know about the Jewish culture. It is very educationalist. You know, the axiom that knowledge is power.
Yeah, and they also, in my opinion, have this advantage that they don't mix with other races. Like, for example, the Middle Eastern or African races. Jewish people normally don't mix with people of other ethnicities.
They obviously have, because you'll see, in terms of appearance, you'll meet Jews. I went to school. I had certain Jewish classmates who most certainly had interbreds with, if you say, particularly Scandinavian looking, if anything.
Yeah, but if you look at Israel, for example, these people most certainly have not mixed with the surrounding countries. They all look rather lightly colored. But compared to the ethnicities around them, they look very different.
But is that it's true? Is that an advantage somehow, in some way? I don't see how that is an advantage.
Well, they do have a higher IQ than the countries surrounding them.
But the thing is, it's already been established that the IQ testing is very patchy. That if you see what it means, is that they were regarded as being of the lower demographic in terms of IQ, as was there have been several generations of Japanese to the United States of America. The first generation, in terms of their culture, were very rather you could say were farmers that were not really the highly skilled people, and that they were, the IQ scores are very low. Then you had the second generation that were, you know, post the Second World War, that were it came from actually a particular era in the Japanese culture that were very much exposed to a positive view of the United States as a model for a culture. So they were very pro-American. They really it was very much a choice for them to emigrate, and that's where you get this the so-called the exceptionally high, the high in terms of performance, the echelon, the highest echelon of people when it comes to performance in the United States. They are the most successful race in the United States, Southeast Asians, and it's just, to me, it's proof that it's really a culture that has a giving on it. Because as you say, the Jews in the United States do keep to themselves, and within, say, 20 years, the IQ scores were exceptionally different when Jews were classed as the least intelligent of the new migrant races to one of the most intelligent. So I can't see how it's really how it's 100% accurate, if you see what I mean. There may be something in it, but I also know people I've met who have been accepted into Mensa, who have told me that they when you practice tests, when you become very good at them, that your scores increase. Does that mean the intelligence increases? What do you think?
No, I don't think. Intelligence is, problem solving, and IQ, it can go down if you live and never use your brain. But you can't. Of course, it can go up in IQ tests if you study a lot for these particular tests, but not by a lot. Because after all, you can't change the structure of your brain.
I reckon it's reasonable to believe that. I don't know to what extent it can be changed. It's a funny thing you're mentioning that is one of the most intelligent people of all. If you just type us in, said that reading certain material actually makes people more intelligent. They said that reading mystery novels makes people more intelligent. So I decided that I have to read more mystery novels. So,
I'm sorry, I just have like 10 more minutes.
Okay, I'll let you speak.
Do you have any question or anything? So I'm sorry that I'm so short on time.
Actually, no, it's not. No, it's all right. It's okay. We of course we were sort of hoping for more people to be involved, but they are very lazy or otherwise otherwise.
Yeah, I guess it's too late for them.
Yeah, it was a thing. What I was saying about the temperament. I mean, would you say that there is a genetic temperament? There is a German temperament. That there is any temperament, an Indian temperament.
I wouldn't say German, but Germanic.
Germanic, yeah.
But I would say so. I mean, if we look at you are in Sweden right now, would you say the people are rather distanced compared to the English?
They are
but rather direct when it comes to talking.
It's actually socially unacceptable for strangers to talk to one another. So it's
the same here.
So there really isn't any social. They can be rather too direct in some ways about some things, and they're rather afraid of conflict. On the whole.
What do you mean when you say conflict?
I mean, in broadest context, they are afraid of conflict. They do not want conflict. They don't wish to disturb the status quo. They don't want the social dynamic to be upset. They really want to be left alone. They do not wish for conflict.
And that's basically how it is in North Germany as well. And our cultures are very different, but we share a lot of the same haplogroups, which is basically the genetic data, I guess.
English people don't wish for conflicts either. They are very apologetic.
Yeah, and that is, and English people also have a lot of Germanic because of the Anglo-Saxons.
Oh, yes.
And that is what we see across many Central, Western, and Scandinavian countries. But if we, for example, look at the South European countries, the North African countries, they are rather different, you know.
Irish people are not like that. I don't see them as afraid of conflict in the same way.
But yeah, but the Irish, they don't have as much Anglo-Saxon DNA as far as I think, as well as the Scottish. They rather have Celtic.
A funny thing about the Celtic thing, that's I've been looking into this recently. That's actually been rather made too much of. That's there really isn't a traceable lineage when it comes to the Celts. There was a movement in the mid 20th century, the Celtic movement, that wished to promote this myth of this being this tribe of Celts, etc. Really, it isn't very easy to substantiate. They're something of a mystery. The Celts. But when I was described we said the Celtic people, the Scottish, as well as the Irish, as being very highly strung people. If anything, if you see what I mean, highly strung. In that I mean they are. You could almost say temperamental. They react.
More temperamental than Central and Western Europeans and Englishmen, I guess.
Yes, yeah. They actually are. Sigmund Freud actually said that he found that Sigmund Freud said that Irish people were a mystery to him. He couldn't understand their psychology. So he didn't understand women either, which may or may not say something.
He was a pioneer in that area, but he wasn't exactly. He had a lot of weird theories, you know. But he made very huge advancements for others to to basically advance psychology.
He has some very good theories as well. I'm quite keen on Freud, but he did believe some strange things. He was very superstitious. He apparently believed that certain numbers were following him. Very, very odd.
Well, he did get addicted to cocaine at some point in his life.
Yes, I think that may have had a part to play. Actually.
And I do think he had a lot of problems with his mother. From the theories he always put out, it could be that it was his patients that had a lot of problems with their mother, but he fixated a lot on the maternal relationship.
I think in that he was correct. I'm a psychologist, and I can spot people who have a lot of the more severe borderline and such. Very often it can be traced to the mother. The problem if the mother has certain problems, they infect the children, so to speak.
Yeah, because it's genetic.
There is a genetic factor. Yeah, but it is, but you'll have. Yeah, you can have several children, but due to the age and circumstances, they won't be affected by it. So it's very that these people are, when it comes to borderline people, it also can be that it's a mixture of the two. It's the genetics plus the peculiarity. They've also said when it comes to schizophrenia, that when they've observed the way that schizophrenics are spoken to by their parents, there is a peculiarity in terms of the language that they use that has an effect on you think, because the developing child. A theory is a theory, of course, that they develop a loss of memory. The ability for memory is linguistic. It involves names and categories. Now, the categories that are given, because the schizophrenics in the cluster that schizophrenics are within of disorders, it's the peculiar, it's sort of the peculiar psychology. So you have schizoid, you have schizotypal, and you have schizophrenic, etc. So they're peculiar. And you have, I believe you have paranoid is within this. So the language is very peculiar. So they will not. So they really will be put on the wrong track. Same way as if you have, say, a sociopath. The sociopath is brought up with a certain parent. They're likely to be the problematic kind of sociopath, rather than one who can sort of meld in society.
Oh yeah. I mean, many politicians are sociopaths.
I'd say all of them are. Practically all of them are, I'd say. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, especially career politicians.
Oh yeah. It's. I mean, can you tell their body language and stuff how much how something is very strange about them.
I personally can't, but they whenever I see a documentary or something else about sociopaths, it does seem like they are. Normally you will notice that they are trying to fit into society, and they often have an easy doing so. But it's like they are doing it too well, and that's, I think, why they have such a success doing that.
I'm very sorry about this. I've just noticed that I'm using the sorry to digress. This is actually a technical issue. I realise that I feel quite silly about this. I realise that I'm using the old version of Hangouts, and you want me to show the stream page for Grigor Gissi. Should I show that at one point?
Oh, no.
I'll leave it until the next Hangout.
No, you were asking about the name, and I just put it there.
Oh right, yeah. I think that would be something for the next Hangout, maybe to have a lot. I think there's a mixture of very much like Hangouts where the viewers can comment on certain videos. I don't know what you think about that. If not long ones, but if something that we would possibly find interesting or disagreeable, just to hear what everyone thinks about it.
Oh sure, but I have to go now. It's pretty late.
It's good, but it's been very interesting. I think it's been one of the more interesting things that's on my channel. I'm very grateful, actually.
No problem.
No, yeah, thank you very much.
Have a nice day. Bye.
Good night.